Okay, let's not create no mystery here. We're getting right into it. Mark Kincaid, Sydney's husband, for those of y'all who didn't know, one of the most suspicious characters that were in Scream 3. Let's talk about him. I want to start out the video by saying, first of all, welcome to the channel. But by saying that Scream 3, I think, was the most important Scream to this whole, well, what was originally a trilogy to the whole relaunch of the series. But I think Scream 3 is very, very key here. And Mark Kincaid was the most suspicious character that was in Scream 3. I want to first jump into the trailer of Scream 6, and let's freeze it right here with Sarah. This scene looks very familiar. This scene was in Scream 3 at the end when Roman was playing all the video footage on the walls and everything. And it makes sense also when it comes to the trailer, along with this shrine of Ghostface evidence from the Woodsboro murders, of course. Now, I'm pointing out this ending scene because there were only a few people in the scene. You have Gail, Dewey, who is no longer with us. Rest in peace, Dewey. You lasted way beyond your time. Way beyond your time. But we appreciate your character. Dewey was amazing. Rowan, who is no longer with us. Our beloved Sidney Prescott. And none other than Detective Mark Kincaid. So they all were in this scene. So that means they all know exactly how that went down and what went down. And it seems like the finish in the trailer is going back to a scene similar. I'm sorry if I said earlier the exact same scene. I meant to say very similar, but similar background to the ending of Scream 3. Now, that might be a stretch. But come on now. It's a theory. And also at the very end, when Roman thought that he shot Sidney and that Sidney was no longer with us, when Sidney shocked the hell out of Roman and revealed to him that she too had on a vest like he had prior. And she said, what? I guess we think alike. They held hands. They looked deep into each other's eyes. They had that brotherly, sisterly moment, whatever was going on there. I don't see why she was holding his hand and this, that, and the other, but Sidney started to change. Maybe she started to see who she really was. Now, let's get back to her husband, Mark Kincaid. Let's go back earlier into Scream 3 when Sidney was in his office and he stepped out and she went through his stuff and he had this collection of all the newspaper clippings with the circle, the basic serial killer stuff. Newspaper clippings with the circles and everything cut out, and Sidney, Ghostface, Woodsboro, Sidney. He clearly had an obsession with the case and or with Sidney's life, and he just so happened to end up marrying her and having a kid with her. And I mean, I'm sorry, even at the very end of Scream 3 when he was saying we all watching the movie, man, he still looked suspect. Like still. He's a good cliffhanger to hang on. But he's a cop, and cops have access to evidence. And it's Hollywood. Let's please not get into the technicalities of what jurisdictions cops can get into and this, that, and the other. Like, it's Hollywood, y'all. Come on, bear with me. But he's a cop, and he can get his hand on evidence. He can replace evidence. He can stage evidence. He's a cop. He can do all of this. So we can take that into our brains and we can jump straight into the next clip from the Scream 6 trailer, which is the shrine. Like, wow, like So he has all of this access, and here's this shrine. Like, the biggest mystery we all know is who put this shrine together. How did it get there? And for a second, I want to make a great reference to the new Ghostface mask. Like, that joint go hard. And, you know, it gives like that Halloween, because, you know, the new Michael Myers mask, it's like an older mask. It's like the actual mask has aged. You know, the character has aged. I love how they did that with Ghostface in the new mask. I think it looked better than the original one. But to caveat out on that, I think that they're symboling to us that the character is an old character as well. You feel me? Like, some of the theories going around, people talking about like the newer characters are going to end up being the killers, but I don't think that's the case. Like, I think that it's going to be an older character. I think that it's another symbol that Kirby has been resurrected, because she was as good as dead in 4, but you know, it was mystery around her, and they brought her back. So they resurrected her character back from the dead, and I think that's a reference that characters can now come back and Scream. Along with the older masks, I think it's kind of hinting that it's an older, more original character. I think we all can attest that Billy is dead now. I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead. Stu is, that's already really been confirmed by the staff that Stu is dead. Randy, like, that would be amazing. I think I'm going to do another little spin-off theory on Randy, if it's at all possible, but I think that's out of the equation, because we've seen like exactly what happened to Randy, like, I think. But at the same time, like, Randy's nephew and Tara, they survived, so I mean, it's Hollywood, anything can happen. But Randy would have actually had to like stage his death, and who is Randy to like pull that off? And if he would have went into like Witsec or something, like, I think his sister would have like went with him or got out of Woodsboro. Like, so I think Randy is done for, so I don't think it's him. And it really doesn't leave many more characters. All the characters are left are Sydney, Gail, Kincaid. I got another video up about Cotton still being alive, so, you know, if that's even a possibility, because I made a reference to, at the beginning credits, the same way that Tara got murked, Cotton got murked in the same way, the way the credits came on. Like, we never actually seen that happen to him, so, you know. And then we get to Scream 5 at the end, and like, just Sydney just seems off. She don't seem scared no more. She just seemed changed, yo. And when Samantha asked her, you know, am I gonna be okay? Yo, what type of answer was eventually? Like, what type of answer was that? Like, this stuff is still not even over, because it's like, it's active as it just happened. Like, so how are you okay, or even know if you okay? Because even though time has went by, this is still new right now. So I just thought that was just like the weirdest answer, and it gave me like some real creepy vibes coming from Sydney. And you take her with Kincaid, and then you throw Gail in there. That's all we got left from the original. And you gotta remember, in Scream, it's always somebody with the group. It's always somebody that's close with the group. And remember, in the Scream 6 trailer, Gail finally got a phone call from Ghostface. Whoa! After all these years, Gail finally got a phone call from Ghostface. But the thing is, she wasn't alone. And I just thought it was real funny how in the trailer, like, they just let it be said vocally, like, that's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head. Like, you're gonna let the person you're trying to off know exactly where you're shooting at in the clock. Like, that's just like code for duck. Like, as crazy as the original ending of Scream was, with them really trying to make it look like they were the ones attacked and were the survivors, like, yeah, I'm getting that. Yeah, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with it. And I know that everybody is like, yo, let it go. They said that Neve Campbell is not participating in this Scream. Like, man, I'm a WWE fan. I know what work is. I know exactly what work is. And, you know, even if she really is not a part of Scream 6, if any part of this theory is true, it's going to have to be a number 7. Like, and anyway, if this joint is going to be a number 7 coming after this one, I think it ends with us knowing who the killer or killers are, and they get away this time though. And, like, you know, and then we get the Ghostface flash scene before the end credits roll to let us know that that number 7 is coming. But that's the way that I think it ends. This is a little spin-off to the theory that I got. You know, everybody saying, well, a few people on my other platforms have said, like, yo, it'll be a waste of character development to have Sydney go mad. Like, nobody's really talking about Mark Kincaid so much. And, you know, ain't nobody really looking at Gale. Everybody think Gale was about to be the last one offed, which is still quite possible. But I'm just trying to give your brain another spin at it, so take it as you receive it. Thank you for watching this video. I will be uploading a couple of more theories on what may happen leading up to my favorite franchise of all time. So, be seeing y'all soon.